Welcome back. Joining us now in the set of the Canadian Science Policy Conference is Jim Edwards. Thank you very much for being here.
Pleasure, Rob.
It's just right now you work for the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council of Canada.
As a volunteer.
As a volunteer, okay. And tell us a little bit about that group first before I go into your background.
It's a funding agency. It's the longest serving of the 3 federal funding agencies for research. It's been in business for 32 years now. And it has $1 billion per year of research money that it gives out based on peer review assessment of the proposals.
So tell us a little bit about how things might change with that organization if there is a national science policy, or would it change?
Well, there is a national science policy.
Well, they tell us that there isn't.
Well, it's put in place by an advisory group to the government called the Science and Technology Institute of Canada, and they advise the government on science priorities, and the government, by and large, follows those priorities. I don't suppose it's as official as it might be, but it works very well. When you have limited funds, you have to prioritize, and so these national priorities seem to work quite well.
Okay, but this group that's holding this event and this conference says that there's a need for a national policy to be in place.
Well, I think what they're talking about is advocacy and greater cooperation from industry. I think Preston Manning said it very, very well, that government can't do everything, that industry should go to government and say, here are the 10 or 12 things that we're going to do. How can we do these things together? And to some extent that's happening, particularly in the collaborations that we have with NSERC.
Now, looking at your background with the group that you're involved with now, you've also been on the Board of Governors with the University of Alberta. You've worked with business through economic development in Edmonton, and you've been an MP. So it seems...
And I've been a businessman for most of my life.
Okay, and so it seems to me like you're well suited to look at something like this. Do you think that there are any problems out there as far as, communication seems to be Preston Manning's key button when it comes to this. Do you think that's the main problem when it comes to bringing these 3 sectors, scientists, business, and government together? Well,
I think they are together, and they collaborate very well as a rule. I think the challenge really is, and when somebody says that they're lacking a national science policy, I think what really they're saying is that we don't seem to have a national consensus on science. And that involves the population. And there were 1 or 2 people from the audience at our session today who suggested that there be a mechanism for engaging the general population in forming science priorities. And I have no problem with that. As long as we define what Canada is all about, then we can decide what science is required to bring it about.
One of the things that they've been talking about is the fact that we do really well when it comes to research, but not always so well when it comes to developing a product afterwards.
That's true, and it's been an endemic Canadian problem, and it's been studied by quite a few recent studies, in fact. And so our question is, who takes the lead? Who takes the bit in his or her teeth? And the answer is all of us, but usually when you bring various sectors together, it's usually the government that has to be the catalyst, and I think it would be in this case.
Do you think that that's the way it should be, though? Should government be in that business, or should it be business?
Well, government need not be in the business. Government obviously has a role in redistributing taxpayers' funds to bring about research. But government, I think there's a useful debate as to whether government should be doing research itself. There are various government departments that do quite a lot of research, and there's, of course, the National Research Council. Those are, I think, subjects that are for open debate.
When you look at a conference like this, what do you expect perhaps you will walk away from this conference with, or that you expect the people who are attending it will learn while they're here?
What I think might happen is that this conference, which I was very much impressed with in terms of the quality of the discussion and the quality of the people who were participating, could become an ongoing, if you like, formulator or proposer of the science policy that has been lamented.
So this is something that is necessary, and you can see it becoming
Well,
more.
I can see it evolving. I can see it developing.
Wonderful. Jim, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Rob.
We've been chatting with Jim Edwards.